Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about, yes, an important topic, and that is of course what happened on the Queen subways yesterday on Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. Obviously, today is Wednesday, December 5th, 2018, but of course another day, another problem all throughout the Queen subway network. I quickly wanted to show you this picture I took back on Sunday, and this was of course from a Twitter handle at Progressive Act, where their name on Twitter is Progressive Action. So here's what they tweeted. What's going on at NYCT Subway? On November 29th, which was last Thursday, a man was found dead on an F train, and then yesterday a man was found with a head injury on the train and was taken to the hospital and later died. Why are train crews always kept in the dark with these issues? No memos, no nothing. So once again, another example of media bias. You know, we're all stuck in the cycle of Trump mania, and now the real local news, which again, something that should have been reported by local news, New York 1, CBS 2, 4 New York, Fox 5, ABC 7, Pix 11. Not one mention about this. It's clearly obvious that, again, media bias is all around us. And that's what I'm going to call it from now on. It's Trump mania. You know how I'm a wrestling fan and I look forward to WrestleMania. Well, I said it back in Maryland. Trump mania has pretty much hide stories from you, and this is a very important issue. And not to mention, I read the 3 Queens newspapers, the Chronicle, Tribune, and the Courier. Not one mention of this. Nothing to the editor. Somebody should have sent a letter to the editor and told them about this story. See if it was a liable source. No, nothing in the 3 newspapers. So again, it's just proof of media bias, and I have to be the one who reports it. Otherwise, you don't know any of this information. Speaking of deteriorating subway issues, I want to show you this picture I got from, of course, one of our fellow viewers, Andy Quinto. Thank you very much for tweeting me this photo at Andy's Randomness, and if you do have any mass transit related tips, please tweet me at Andy's Randomness, and I will try to get your mentions in one of my videos. So this was at the Parsons Boulevard station back on Monday, December 3rd, where a homeless person was sleeping on the bench. And I can tell you all, yesterday when I was at 7 Boulevard JFK station, I did notice another homeless person. So again, you know, this is what happens when there's no law and order around. Before we get to the Queen subway issues from yesterday, 2 quick other photos. This was when I was on the 11:20 train from Great Neck to Penn yesterday, and you are seeing this correctly. This was a ripped seat, and I was saying to myself, why wasn't this car 7380 taken into Hillside Support Facilities, and why wasn't it, you know, taken over there and taped up? Thankfully, the Long Island Railroad, lately when I've been tweeting the Long Island Railroad, they have been getting back to me with these issues. So if you do tweet them pictures sometimes when the train conditions, they are going to listen. So please remember that. Now, the reason why I had my I just activated my phone because I'm recording this on my tablet was, this is a picture I took yesterday on the 6th train when I boarded from Lexington Avenue and 59th Street as I was trying to transfer to the E train at 51st Street. So this is on card 2064, and yes, blinky no love. Pretty much somebody used a permanent marker. This is probably a Sharpie, and somebody vandalized the train, and somebody else wrote also on the window right here. Two of my fellow strap hangers just laughed it off, and I didn't care. But I told them, you guys see something, you have to say something. Tweet NYCT Subway. And thankfully, right after I sent the pictures to NYCT Subway, I pretty much got an immediate response back. And, as long as you tweet them real issues like this, whether it's the Long Island Railroad or whether it's New York City Subway, they're going to get back to you. So, please keep that note. You can tweet them at LIRR and at NYCT Subway. Just remember to have a legitimate photo like I do. And of course, I'm going to try to keep bringing up these pictures I take all the time on my channel, because once again, with media bias, you're not going to see anything anymore. So let's get to our issues from yesterday. And pretty much everything yesterday went downhill right after, I would say, 1:45 yesterday afternoon. So our first issue was a train service was temporarily suspended because a dog was on the tracks at Beach 36th Street. And then one service was suspended. They told people to take the Q22 bus to Beach 90th Street for continued A-train service. So that's very good that they were communicative about that. But here's where the worst of the problem started. And this issue on the Queens Boulevard IRT lasted for 4 hours last night. 4 hours. So there were signal problems that first affected the E and the F train at Woodhaven Boulevard. Then we had F and M train service reduced in Brooklyn and Manhattan because of this. And there was a reason why, because there was just too much congestion caused by the signal problems at Woodhaven Boulevard. So because of this, that's why if you were riding the Queens Boulevard IRT yesterday, you noticed that your service was pretty much bad. And I'm sure even if you were on the trains, you noticed that the train was probably moving at a slower speed than normal. And yes, I've dealt with this too whenever we have these issues. And you know why the signals are outdated. Okay, they're pretty much outdated. I just said it now. So because of these centuries-old signals, that's why we have these problems. And every time I've been on the subway, I noticed to myself, these signals at least have to be, what, maybe 60, 70 years old? At least 70, because I know there was a big project done in the 40s when they revamped the signal system. So some of them have to be from the 1940s. Not all of them. I know some of them in Manhattan are. In Queens, I know for a fact they were redone in the 80s. So that's 30 years old. And even 30-year-old signals can't handle the problems of the everyday uses of the masses that come from Queens and try to get into borough service. And then at 6:46, Queens-bound F service was reduced in Brooklyn and Manhattan while they worked to relieve congestion caused by the signal problems at Woodhaven Boulevard. Some of the northbound E and F trains had to run local, and this was, I gotta give NYCT Subway credit for, tweeting this information out, and the MTA for doing the right thing and not screwing the people who needed local service yesterday. I would have been like, okay, we're going local. No big deal. I mean, if we get to Woodhaven Boulevard, I'll just get off at Woodhaven Boulevard and take the 88 to Queens Village. I would have not been upset. Trust me, I would have not been upset. There was a good reason why I found out later on. And I would have probably went on my phone and tried getting a quick signal, see if I can get any info that way, and then pass it along to my strap hangers, and then, And once again, I'm going to zoom in. The E, F, M, and R were impacted because of this. And yet again, another tweet. And they were communicative about this until 7 o'clock last night. And then, speaking of 7 o'clock last night, guess what? The 7 had an issue again. And yep, this is probably because of CBTC. Probably because of CTBC. There's no other reason why the train's brakes would not automatically activate. So the activated brakes were at Times Square, 42nd Street. And they had to ask people to go to a station agent to receive a courtesy pass. So pretty much they had to make people go to the other entrance at 42nd Street. Because that's where the main entrance of the station is, by Broadway and 7th Avenue. Because my entrance is normally 43rd Street, where it's less congested and you have that other turnstile area to get to the Times Square shuttle. Yep. 4 hours. So pretty much service wasn't... normal service didn't get back on track until 9 or 10 o'clock last night. So you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. And thousands upon thousands of people in Queens last night were screwed because of this. And quickly this morning, I want to mention that NR and W service had problems this morning in Astoria because there were debris on the tracks between Queensboro Plaza and Lexington Avenue, 59th Street. You know what probable debris was on the tracks? Yep, garbage. Literal trash that yet again always ends up on our tracks. Or, and I've seen this at Queensboro Plaza. I've seen other debris like shoes, and at one time I even saw a hat on the tracks. So anything is possible with these people who think that they can just damage the tracks. And the last issue we had was, of course, this on the 7 as well. One last issue on the 7. We had FDNY activity between Grand Central 42nd Street and Vernon Boulevard, Jackson Avenue. So with that all said, that's going to wrap up this video. If we have more problems today, I will try to do another video. I quickly want to mention that one of my fellow YouTubers, Matt Camper, today, he should be uploading later today or tonight. I've been monitoring this very closely. The Vietnam branch actually got impacted. So once he uploads, there should be a card on the screen right now. Definitely will be in the card later tonight or tomorrow, and I'll update it. And you all should be able to receive that video. And it seems the Babylon branch is getting into a lot of bad luck. So Matt Camper will be at your home for that information because his specialty is more of the Long Island Railroad. So you all can check that out. And I'm quickly going to mention this before I wrap up this recording. This Tuesday, December 11th, I am going to be at the Hicksville train station with Matt Camper, and I'll be on his channel as well. And of course, we're going to do his version of Hicksville 2.0. And I know for a fact that I'm taking a later Ronkonkoma train before 3 o'clock that day. So, looking forward to that. And I know for a fact that should be my last ride on the Long Island Railroad this year, because the week before Christmas, I'm helping a friend because I'm going to be celebrating Christmas with him, and we have to get stuff for his family coming over. So obviously next week will be my last ride on the Long Island Railroad until 2019. So with that being all said, thank you all for watching. Until the next one, please take care.